So, on today's episode of Love My Body, Love Myself, we're going to talk about adenomyosis. And I was really intrigued by that because I'd never heard of it before. And we're going to also talk about why it's so challenging for women to get help. So, I hope you grab a girlfriend, grab a cup of coffee or a glass of wine, and stick around because we're about to talk to my guest about her journey with adenomyosis. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Love My Body, Love Myself. I am your host, Alicia Couri, and I am super excited to bring this guest with me tonight. I sat down with Amanda Laden several weeks ago, and we had a really candid conversation about her journey and the things that have gone on in her own body. And I was really struck by how candid she was in sharing. So I hope that this interview helps someone when who is experiencing any of the signs or symptoms that she was experiencing, and is able to investigate further and get help. So before I get to that interview, I want to welcome all of you who are watching. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Those of you who are on YouTube, thank you. And if you can just hit that subscribe button, I would really appreciate that so that we can continue to bring you more amazing content that is here to influence, educate, inspire, and entertain you, so you can lead your best life. So thank you for those who are on LinkedIn who are checking us out, and also on Facebook. So you can be watching on Facebook in several places because we are broadcasting in many places on Facebook. So thank you so much for joining. And if you are on any of those other platforms watching us, maybe head on over to YouTube and give us a subscribe. That would be very, very helpful. Thank you. We would appreciate that. So it's youtube.com/C/Alicia Couri. And you can just hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell and give us a thumbs up on that video as well. Like I said, we want to be able to bring more content to you and be able to share that. So give us a like and a subscribe and a share. So we always love to see that. And don't forget, if this interview or the content that we're sharing is valuable to you in any way, please leave a comment. I'm here live, and if you leave a comment, we will acknowledge your comment throughout the show. We'll put it up. If you have questions, I'll try to pop in and give you my best, the best way I can answer those questions. And if I can't, hopefully refer you to someone who can answer those questions for you. So leave a comment. Let me know that you're here, that you're watching this interview, because, even though some parts of this interview were pre-recorded, I am here live. So some parts are pre-recorded, but I am here live with you today on this show. If you would like to get in touch with me, or if you'd like to find out more about me, you can go to alicia360.com, and that way you can connect with me on any of these platforms. You can connect with us. Oh, Amanda is here watching herself. Isn't that freaky, Amanda? Yay! So go on ahead and connect with me on that platform. And this show is sponsored by Alicia Couri Inc., and it is produced by Red Carpet CEO. So we will share a little bit more about that in our break. But my goal in this show is to really impact 100,000 women. And so I would love for you to join the group. We have a group on Facebook. It's facebook.com/groups/LM sorry, LMBLM, Love My Body, Love Myself. So if you could go ahead and subscribe and join that group, that would be incredible, so that we can continue to share these shows. And we have other opportunities coming out that we're going to roll out in that group as well. So I think I think that's it for the little housekeeping that I wanted to do. So I'm going to go ahead and start the video and bring up Amanda. And like I said, don't forget to like, share, comment, and also go ahead and share this out with a friend. Invite a friend to watch with you, because this is going to be some really vital and valuable information, that stuff that I didn't even know about. So I would encourage you to go ahead and share this out with a friend. And here we go. Oh my gosh, I am super excited to have my next guest. She is a friend and a colleague. And let me tell you just a tiny snippet about Amanda, because she's not here as an expert. She's here to talk about her journey and her story. But Amanda Laden has had a journey of loss through miscarriages, misdiagnosis, and finding a way to really come to terms with the healing of her own body. And I am just so excited to have on the show today Amanda Laden. And we're going to talk a lot about what's going on. And we may have a few laughs, because we're like the same person almost. So, Amanda, welcome to the show.
Hey.
We're like looking into a mirror, we are.
I mean, we look identical, but
I think we got the same goofy gene.
Yes, we
along the
do.
line.
And I love it.
So this is a women's health issue. And because this is called Love My Body, Love Myself, I really wanted to talk to you specifically, because you've had some women's reproductive issues in your body that has been devastating. And it's something that women deal with. It's more common than we think it is, and it's painful to go through. So I just want you to take us back to the first time that you recognized that there was an issue or a problem, and then we'll talk about what exactly is the problem.
Yeah. So, I mean, in all honesty, the first time I recognized there was an issue with my body around what women are supposed to be doing every single month, which is our female cycle, was when I was 16 and started my period. And I would get so unbelievably sick. And so you could imagine, I am not 16 anymore, but how many years I have been going through literal physical pain of having my period. So for people who don't get their period, it's not the most fun thing. But for those of us who suffer from an issue, and mine went undiagnosed for many years, every single month I'm vomiting. I'm debilitated for 2 to 3 days. So imagine that, like even having to go to school, having to plan your work, having to plan client meetings, which I would have to plan my months and my work around whether or not I was getting my period, and if I was going to be laid up in bed for 2 to 3 days every single month.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
The shocking thing about that is that nothing is being done in general about women having really difficult periods, because it's something they go through every single month. And it's this kind of thing. Well, yeah, that's just, part of the course. That's just how it happens for you. You roll the dice, and that's what you got, a crapshoot, and that's it. And
Right?
You just have to deal with it.
Well, and the thing is, I mean, we know in the medical system that women get dismissed, and women of color get dismissed more frequently than women who are Caucasian. And so imagine, I had spoken to many doctors throughout the years, each time them telling me, no, you just have bad periods. And I would be like, wait, so a bad period entails vomiting, being curled up in the fetal position. And I had asked several doctors, are there other tests you can do on me to figure out what the heck is going on? And many times the answer was, no, there's nothing we can do for you. It took almost an act of God for one doctor to kind of piece it together and finally figure it out. And this was only, let's see, this was in, what year are we, 2021? This was
Yeah.
less than 3 years ago.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I went through my entire life not knowing what was going on. And it finally took, and we can talk about the miscarriages too, but it finally took several rounds of IVF, a few miscarriages, really bad periods, and then having a tumor this big at the top of my uterus after a miscarriage, for the doctor to say, "Oh wait, hang on.
Oh
Your
my
uterus
goodness.
is too big. You've had miscarriages. You can't hold the baby. What is happening?" And then finally she said, "I think you have something called adenomyosis." So for people who don't know what adenomyosis is, it's not a term that's used very frequently. It's not something that's talked about very often. The most common term I think we know is endometriosis.
Right.
So many celebrities, Amy Schumer this week came out talking about how she just had her uterus removed because of severe endometriosis. There have been other celebrities in the public domain who have talked about it. But adenomyosis is not one that people talk about. And what it is it's a cousin of endometriosis. So they often run together in tandem. And adenomyosis is endometrin growing through the muscle walls of your uterus. So, you can imagine it's like a weed that continues to grow
Yeah.
and grow and grow. And it's extremely painful. And it
Does it
distends.
trigger more around your period? Why it's so painful
It
during?
is. It is.
Oh,
So because you can imagine, the body itself, the natural system is to flush
it's
out.
trying to flush, and this thing is,
Mhm.
oh my goodness.
And so the first celebrity I actually heard talk about adeno was Gabrielle Union. A few years back, Oprah interviewed her for Super Soul Sunday, and she and Dwayne Wade, her husband, talked about their journey with IVF and with surrogacy. And she started talking about how she has this thing called adenomyosis. And so I stopped the program and I grabbed my husband and I said, "You and I need to watch this together. This is the first person I've ever heard talk about this outside of me." And they're going through what we went through because they went through several rounds of IVF. And Dwayne finally said to her, "You are killing yourself. With every
Yeah.
round you go through, your
The-
body is destroying itself more and more and more, not to mention the emotions and the craziness that you feel when you're going through all of that." But, I finally was like, "Oh, whoa, somebody else has this, and this is actually a thing."
It's real. It is actually real. And it, it unfortunately, it takes someone of notoriety for anyone to take notice of this, that this is actually real, because when I was pregnant with my children, I had severe nausea and morning sickness that lasted not through the morning, it lasted all day long, all month long, up until I gave birth. And the doctors would just dismiss, "Oh, that's just, you just need to eat. You just need, I was losing weight." And I had one doctor say, "Oh, you're just trying to keep your figure. You need to nourish your baby." I'm like, "I am trying to eat. I just
How
am
rude.
so sick."
That's that
And
thing that Kate Middleton has, right?
until Kate Middleton came out with that, no, people wouldn't acknowledge that, and unfortunately, even some people in my family thought I was just being overly dramatic.
Hmm.
Do you know me to be overly dramatic?
No.
I
No, but
mean,
it's true that we get labeled with these things like, we're expected to tolerate the pain. We're expected to tolerate the illness. And then people say, "Well, just
just a
because I
baby.
know you and I know how you can be, this is overly dramatic." I mean, it's
It,
and it's shame that that's what we believe in society that women are.
mhm.
And that we put these labels on us when we have something real going on with our bodies,
Yeah,
something very, very real. And unfortunately, what I have going on with adenomyosis, I still have it today.
yeah.
And in fact, this week I was down for a day because of
Oh,
it.
so
So
let me
Mhm.
ask real quickly. Do you have regular cycles, or were you missed? Was it irregular, or what were some of the other symptoms aside from the pain and the illness that you were experiencing?
So every woman experiences this differently. And that's part of the problem because,
It's like heart
when we
disease.
Mhm.
Hmm.
When we experience things differently, then doctors also take us less seriously. So for me, I did have, and I did until they kind of put a stopgap in my body, but I did have absolutely regular cycles. So every 28 days, like clockwork.
Clockwork.
Um, except for when they were trying to put some interventions and figure things out, and then the bleeding was nonstop. So that is also like, can you imagine how embarrassing that can be, and how that
Mhm.
affects your intimacy with your partner, how that affects just
Affects
your life as
everything. Just going out is a chore, because especially if it's really heavy and it's like, oh
Mhm.
God,
I
can't
mean,
I can't wear
there's
white pants.
oh yeah, you have to really be careful. And so every woman, when, I think the main sign of either endometriosis or adenomyosis is really severe debilitating pain. That seems to be consistent. For with people I've spoken to, with blogs I've read, with people who are experts talk about that. So if you're all of a sudden experiencing like what you think, like, are other women going through this, is this normal,
Is this
then
real? Is
is
this
this
is
yeah.
it psychosomatic? Because that's the other thing. It's all in your head. It's
Well,
like,
people
it's
tell us
all
that,
in
right?
my head. It's not in my head. It's in my body.
Right.
My body is attacking me, and I don't know
Yeah,
why or what is going on.
I think that's a really important point to make, is that we also need to remove the shame of asking for help and sharing, what it is that's going on. I feel like there's so much attached in our society with the expectation that women should be able to carry a baby. And
Mm.
so when that gets taken away from you,
You feel
because
less than a woman.
you
It's
feel
just,
less than a woman.
and everybody keeps asking because you're married. When are you gonna have
When are
babies?
you gonna
When are
have a
you gonna
baby?
have a baby? When are you gonna have a
And
baby?
those are those things that really, to this day, still really irritate me. The lack of sensitivity that people have around this, because we're so conditioned as women to have to, well, first of all, to want kids. Not everybody wants kids.
Hmm.
Secondly, when we can't have them, the stigma surrounding that is so, so awful. And then people just, it happened to me this weekend. Somebody said to me, well, have you considered adoption? Like, we've never heard that term before. No, I mean,
Mm.
of course we haven't. Have you considered surrogacy? I mean, come on. Like, let's
Yeah.
stop asking one another these really personal questions around something that's so emotionally fraught, and something
Yeah.
that, I've had to navigate not only with my own body, but with the medical system, with, various doctors, with my husband, with our families. It is so, there's so many multi layers of emotion and
Mm.
decision making. And the fact is that what I have is a chronic disease.
Mm.
And so when you think about it in that way, and the chronic pain, so it's like somebody else, if you imagine, if you have really debilitating arthritis or something, and I'm not dismissing any other diseases by any stretch of the imagination,
Right.
but I've been living with the pain for so long that I don't even know what normal is in my body.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's really sad. That's a really sad situation. And um so let's talk a little bit. You know what? Let me take a quick break because I think we all need a collective breath.
I
We
think
need
it
to
should
take a,
be a dance break.
yes, take a dance break and thank our sponsors for a moment. So we're going to take a quick dance break and we're going to come back with more. I am muted. So I was just going to say, as we're taking a break, I just wanted to pop in and just ask if you have any comments, if there was anything that was an eye opener for you, or you saw or heard in the so far from Amanda that has um, woken you up, or maybe you've heard of someone that is having debilitating pain every month, and there's, you haven't heard about it, drop a comment, let us know. Share that with us. Amanda is here watching, so if you leave a comment, she will respond to you. So let us know what you're thinking, what's going on, and what you think of this interview so far. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the sponsors. More from Amanda Laden, so just stay tuned. The Love My Body, Love Myself show is sponsored by Alicia Couri Inc. and produced by Red Carpet CEO. Alicia Couri Inc. is a boutique consulting firm that specializes in developing audaciously proactive leaders and teams using brain science and people data to get results. For more information, you can visit our website, www.aliciacouri.com. And the show is produced by Red Carpet CEO. If you would like a copy of my book, which is Age with Audacious Confidence, please go to our link tree, which is linktr.ee/acouri, and look for Age with Audacious Confidence. So let's go on and get back to the show. So I just also wanted to say that guest and sponsorship opportunities are available for Love My Body, Love Myself. So just email us at support@aliciacouri.com. This interview was pre-recorded, as you can see, and I'm just popping in. I'm popping in live, but I really wanted to make sure that I serve the audience as they're watching. And I did see that Lisa Jury is here as well. She said it's an important topic. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing. So thank you, Lisa, for sharing that. And I'm going to go ahead and get back to my interview with Amanda Laden. We are back. I'm here with Amanda Laden, and we are talking all things reproductive. We're talking about our reproductive system and when it's broken, when it's not working the way it should, and what, not just physical pain that women go through, but the emotional pain of it when something in your body is not functioning the way it should function. So Amanda, when we left off for our break, you were talking about being in chronic pain pain all the time. So even in between periods, do you have pain, or is it's kind of a dull kind of a...
Yeah. It's a dull kind of aching. Sometimes it'll feel like just out of the blue that like I get socked in the stomach by something. And I'm like, whoa. And it could be like that sharp and that quick. It just, really depends on the day and where I am in my cycle and what my body's doing. I mean, I'm at the stage right now that my adenomyosis, and they suspect I also have endometriosis, is so diffused that it's taking over other parts of my body.
Oh, wow. And I want to go back and talk a little bit about the miscarriages and how that has affected you. How many times were you actually pregnant?
So I think during all of IVF, I was technically pregnant 3 times, once with twins.
And that is in itself, because you're trying to have a baby, you're trying to be a mom, and that's not happening for you. Before IVF, were you ever pregnant? Was it ever something that happened?
No.
That's why you chose to go the route of IVF.
Yeah, and we had been told that it should have been easy for us, but again, what the medical system missed was all of the red flags that my body was giving the entire time. Before we got married, we had actually started to try to have a baby because we were like, we want this to happen. And let's just see if it happens. And we were like, we went through all the tests. They did all my eggs, and they're like, you have plenty of eggs. You're going to be totally fine. He's young and healthy. You're going to be totally fine. And what they missed was what my whole system was doing and what it was telling them. And so, in retrospect, the many rounds of IVF we went through, which is in and of itself probably another conversation because of just how hard that is on the body. But what that did is it actually exacerbated all of my symptoms, and it sped up the disease.
Because I was going to say the hormone therapy that you have to go through for IVF, they pump you up with all those hormones.
And because I hadn't been diagnosed, then, had I been diagnosed, we would have taken a different course of action. But since I didn't have a diagnosis, we went through a few years of all of these hormones, which just like added fuel to a fire.
Jacked it up. Wow. That's really the saddest part of that, is that what you didn't know was really hurting you. They have that adage, what you don't know. What you didn't know was really, really killing your body.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, so it's really, a disappointing thing. I think the other thing that, and if we want to talk about miscarriage, I think that the thing that women tend to ask one another is, oh, so how far along were you? And then you answer, and they say, well, that's not that bad.
Oh,
but you know what? You're not the one going through it.
Yeah.
And regardless of how far along somebody is, that's still something, especially when you're actively trying to get pregnant, that you're going through. And it doesn't matter if you're a few weeks along or if you're,
you can't get a little pregnant.
No, you're pregnant. So, it's devastating anyway. And the insensitivities around that too, the things I had people say to me, I mean, that should be a show in and of itself. What not to say to people when they're experiencing grief and loss, in any way, whether it's loved one, and just kind of insensitive questions too around it. It's like, this is something that we have desired and have wanted and sought outside help to do, that, unbeknownst to us, was also literally almost killing me.
And you're absolutely right, because there's a difference also, and someone else's experience is not your experience, so you have to put yourself in that other person's shoes of what they're going through, and not just say, oh, well, it's not that bad, because for someone like me who did have a miscarriage, but I was I was really early in my pregnancy. I had just found out that I was pregnant when it happened. It's not the same experience as you, because you were expecting it and you were trying for it and you were working hard to get there. So in that moment where the doctor says, yes, you're pregnant, and you have that elation that, yes, it worked. And then your body rejects it. And then it's like, that's a whole different perspective than someone like me who was not expecting it to happen. I didn't realize that I was. And then I had taken the test, and then I had gotten my period, and I said, oh, well, I guess I wasn't, because I thought, the test came back positive, but then I got my period. So I thought, I guess maybe I wasn't. But I had also gone to the doctor and taken a blood test with the doctor, and the doctor called and said, oh, yeah, you're pregnant. I'm like, well, I guess I'm not anymore. So It was a whole different situation for me than it is for you, who is building that expectation. So that insensitive, it is insensitive to speak to someone like that.
And I think the thing is too, with the IVF journey, it's like a roller coaster, because there's so much waiting time. There's so much expectation and anxiety and desire and want. And, people don't choose to go through that lightly. Like, it's not something you're like, I think I'm going to spend all this money and pump myself full of drugs every day and become a she beast. Like, it's like, I mean, being around me is not the most pleasant thing when I'm on those drugs. So it's like,
it is a process.
It is
Hefty
tough.
process.
It's expensive. It's tough. It's draining emotionally, financially, everything. So yeah, I mean, I think there's just so much tied with that. And then so you can imagine, like, we went through all of that. Then we lose the babies, then it doesn't happen, and then I get the diagnosis. And then the prognosis is, you will, because we didn't catch this early enough, you will never be able to carry a baby to full term. That's just like another layer of
another sock in the gut.
And you're just pissed at your body, right? It's like the one thing that I'm supposed to be able to do as a female, because why else do I have a uterus? For me, all it does is cause me issues. The one thing I'm supposed to be able to do that's tied to femininity and being a woman is the one thing I can't do.
Oh. I can't even imagine the like, how do you get over that? How did you build yourself back up through that? Or are you still going through that process?
It's still a process. It's like, imagine writing a novel and you have a million chapters in it. And, you start on your journey of trying to create something. And then, you're going through this like ebb and flow. I'm in chapter 100, whatever I'm in right now, because, as you know, and I'm okay to say publicly, unfortunately, I do have to have my uterus removed. It's the last straw. It's the last medical intervention they can do. And, in and of itself, that statement. So, okay, I'm going to say something that you might edit out. I don't know. So I just want to put this in perspective. This is a female issue. We don't in society value our women enough, and we certainly don't value our women's health enough. If this were a male issue and the doctor had a male patient and said, I'm sorry, the only thing we can do for you is, chop off your penis. That is the last, and your balls. That's the last ditch effort.
Take everything, and that's the best we can do for you.
That's the best we can do. They would be like, what the what? No, that's not happening. But that's where we are with research done on these types of diseases for women. And it's not even, when we talk only about the uterus, it's all of the female body. And so, that's where I am right now in the journey. So chapter 150 is that I'm about to have surgery here in the next month or two to finally eradicate all of the adenomyosis and potentially endometriosis, which my doctor thinks I have. She just can't see it in the ultrasound. And so, that as well, going through. So now you have this body part again, which is so tied to who you are as a woman. And that's all being taken away. So I'm sure there's going to be another emotional roller coaster. There already kind of has been.
The fallopian tubes, eggs, everything.
They are taking the cervix, the fallopian tubes, the uterus, and they're trying to preserve my ovaries. So assuming that the adeno or endo has not taken over the ovaries, those will remain in my body.
So that it won't throw you into menopause.
No.
Yet, at least.
Yet.
One time for you, girl. That's a lot to have to process, and your surgery was postponed. Like, you was supposed to have the surgery several weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, yeah. So I was supposed, not this past Friday, but the Friday before.
Actually, you were supposed to have the Monday or the Tuesday, and then it moved to Friday, and
right,
then it moved again.
Right. So it got moved because of some other complications, and yeah, I mean, but I got called the morning of. I was supposed to check into the hospital at noon, so I've been fasting all night, and we know I am not good. Hangry is not a good look for me.
Like I told you, you and I, girl, we get hangry quick.
Like,
Bring us the food.
like when people start talking about how they missed or skipped lunch, I'm like,
how do you do? How does that even happen? How does that happen? How do
that
you
is
skip lunch?
impossible.
And I mean, I was just I'm like, so I was informed that I should do intermittent fasting. Like I need to fast 16 hours and then 20 hours. I'm like, how do you even do that? You know?
Well, I don't know. That informant sounds wrong. Because I mean, I don't understand how those people do it. Everybody's like, well, once you get used to it, I'm like, okay, well, you know what I'm used to? Eating all my meals.
Eating regularly. Eating regular meals. Yeah. Well,
like a normal
I'm
human.
still trying to work myself to intermittent fasting. I'm kind of trying to prepare my mindset for that. But yes, so you had fasted. We went off on a tangent, but you had fasted.
And then I get a call
for the surgery.
Yeah, I was supposed to check in at noon, and I get a call at 9:30 from the doctor's office saying, "Oh, there's something missing from your file." And I'm like, "Okay, what's missing from my file?" "Oh, you need neuro clearance." Huh. Okay. Nobody told me that. And that's another topic. So now we're waiting on a neurosurgeon.
You know what's amazing to me is they tell you these things like you should know. Like you should know that you should have this in your file. I'm not the professional here. I'm not the doctor.
Right.
I don't know what you need.
I didn't go to medical school, and I'm also not your coordinator.
I didn't set this process into motion. You did.
Right.
So if something's missing, it's missing on your side. You did it.
Yeah. And why are you just looking? Like, why are you just looking the morning of? Like, this isn't like, you know, and
to do my nails,
right.
And they don't have the right nail polish.
Right. Yeah.
This is my life. This is your life.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So we, you know, now I'm in a holding pattern until I get neuro clearance. And because I had moved my entire schedule around, you know, I'm just like, well, you're now going to have to wait for my schedule. So anyway,
and you're a business owner, so you can't just, you know, this isn't an easy thing to do for you because you have clients, you have things, you know, you're a consultant. And so we can't just say, okay, we'll do it next Friday. No.
No.
You're the CEO of your company. You can't just drop everything and Wow. Well, Amanda, I am so thankful that you shared so openly with us the journey that you've been on, and I'm really hoping that it helps other women to, if not anything else, but be persistent with your care. If you are experiencing a challenge, if you're having an issue in your reproductive system, if you're having pain that should not be there, continue to press for answers, because you know, you don't want to do something that's going to throw something else off. I had another guest that had she was in an accident and they found a tumor, cancer tumor that was wrapped around her neck and in her breast, and at the time the treatment that they gave her got rid of the cancer, but it destroyed and damaged her heart so badly that years later her heart was functioning, I think, at like 9%. And so she's now a chronic heart patient because, you know, the treatment that they said, yeah, we'll get rid of the cancer, but now we've just completely damaged the one organ that you really, really need to keep you alive, your heart.
Well, so, it's really, I mean, you know, that is not uncommon. And I think just to piggyback off of what you said, you know, we really as women need to listen to our gut or our intuition or ourselves more because, and, you know, unfortunately, we're in a state where we have to advocate for ourselves. And, you know, I think about all the years of me saying, this doesn't seem right, and nobody listening. Like if I were to go back and tap my younger self on the shoulder, I would say, scream louder.
Yeah.
bang down the doors harder, fight harder, because your body, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And so for women out there, if there's even a question, even a little something niggling, do not hesitate to push your doctors. And if that doctor says you're crazy or dismisses you, go to the next
Go
one.
to the next one.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even when dealing, anyway, I'll just leave it right there, because sometimes they give you a course of action that you don't feel right with.
Hmm.
Don't continue on that path. You know, seek a second opinion. Seek out other people. And we have so much now with the internet where you can ask. You can put a post out, and you may not want everybody know your business, but you can ask for help, and say, listen, I've heard of this, and this. Who else has dealt with this or have seen this? You don't even have to tell them it's you. You could be asking for a friend.
Well, it's
Ask the
interesting.
question.
It's interesting you say that, because a few weeks back, or maybe a month or so ago, I posted an Instagram of myself, my belly,
Mm-hmm.
because my belly gets so distended as a result of this. And I just wrote, thanks, adenomyosis. And somebody, a friend of mine, commented and said, wait a second, you have that? And I said, yeah, I've had it for years. And she said, I have it too. I didn't know you had it. And we used to be next door neighbors. We're good friends. And it's like these things where it's like, okay, well, we need community. We need support. We need other people talking about it so that we normalize the conversation. And had I not posted that, she wouldn't have known anybody else in her circle who has it and who has gone through these similar challenges, and who's also able to help be a support system for her as she's navigating it too.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to do this show. And I'm so thankful that you can come on and talk about it, for anyone else who is going through it, and anyone else who is dealing with that there are other women out there also dealing with it. And would you be open for anyone reaching out to you
Sure.
if they needed to find out, well, how did you get your diagnosis? All right. So I'm going to link her contact info, her Instagram. You can DM her and
Slide
and
into my DMs.
slide into her DMs. And listen, watch our TikTok, because we're going to be doing some TikTok dances coming up soon. We're going to be getting down on the reels and on TikTok. So, look out for this dynamic duo here.
You never
Twins.
know when our TV show is coming.
Yeah, I know. So we're twins. You just got to look out for it. She's going to be down here in Florida. I can't wait.
You
Turn it
soon.
up. Turn it up. Thank you so much, Amanda. I
You're
truly,
welcome.
truly appreciate you coming and sharing your story and sharing what you've been going through all these years. And the goal of this is really to help other women to learn to love their body and love themselves through the process. And even when your body is not doing what it's supposed to do, still take care of it and still find ways that you can love on yourself. So that was Amanda Laden, and I am so thankful for her sharing her journey and sharing with such honesty, and being so candid with everything that she's going through, has gone through, and is still going through in this process. I encourage you, like she said, to reach out to Amanda. So you can reach out to her on Instagram or on Facebook. It's the Amanda Laden. And you can also go to Amanda Laden International and find Amanda. And just like she said, slide into those DMs, and just ask her about it. Ask her about her journey. Ask her was she diagnosed? What can you do? She is quite open, and will give you some guidance, or at least some support around what you're dealing with. So I thank you again, Amanda. I know you were watching. Also, I just really want to remind everyone that if you want to love a good sliding into my DMs, yales. So if you are watching on YouTube, I do want to encourage you to please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/C/Alicia Couri. And this show was sponsored by Alicia Couri Inc. And it is also produced by Red Carpet CEO. We are looking for other sponsors for the show. So if you would like to sponsor a show, or if you would like to be a guest on the show, please do not hesitate to contact us. Go to support@aliciacouri.com and send us an email so that we can connect with you either on the sponsorship side or on the guest side. Thank you again, my guest, Amanda. And if you would like to join our Facebook group, please go to facebook.com/groups/LMBLM, which is for Love My Body, Love Myself. I am your host, Alicia Couri. If you didn't already know that, if you were just joining. But Amanda really gave us some really important information. So if you are struggling with really debilitating, painful periods and it's not normal, I'm just letting you know that is not normal. So if you're having pain where 2 or 3 days you're just laid out with heavy cycles and vomiting and all of that, you need to go see your doctor. Please seek out medical attention. Have them run some tests on you. Inquire, could this be endometriosis? Could this be adenomyosis? Educate yourself and be your best advocate for your health, because this is Love My Body, Love Myself. You need to learn how to love your body and take care of yourself in the very best way that you possibly can. She said that seemed to be the consistent theme, that those painful, very, very painful periods is one key sign that something is wrong in your body. So with that said, you can find me on, if you want to connect with me, you can find me on alicia360.com. It's going across your screen. So go ahead and connect with me, alicia360.com. I'd love to have a conversation. You can slide into my DMs. You can go ahead and slide into my DMs. I don't mind. So thank you. Thank you again to Amanda. Thank you for watching. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and let me know that you're watching. And leave a comment. We really want to hear from you, because if this content is valuable to you, I do want to bring more of it to you and help to, again, influence, educate, inspire, and entertain you so you can step into your own audacious confidence. So until next time, I have another phenomenal guest next week, and we're going to talk about her journey through healing from breast cancer. So I want to share that with you, because there are some things that she said she wished she had known before she went through her treatment. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you next week on another episode of Love My Body, Love Myself. So I encourage you to really take the time out to love on yourself, because it's the only body you have. So love this body that you're in, and please, please, please love yourself. Until next time, mwah, mwah, mwah. I'll see you.